Well, today on the news at noon, we are setting up for a very hot week. However, we could see some rain return, and our Sarah Spivey is tracking those changes. But first, again, a slew of new state laws are officially in effect, and as of yesterday, September 1st.
Two of those laws based on our own KSAT investigation. The last year, I spent over 7 months investigating a private water company that was providing brown and overly chlorinated water to several small Wilson County communities. The stories, in addition to neighbors' hard work and complaints, caught the attention of Senator Judith Zaffirini. She sponsored several bills, and two became law. Senate Bill 1662 holds water companies more accountable. It addresses situations where the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, is called in to investigate a water company after a customer complains. The law says TCEQ cannot give a company more than 24 hours notice before it tests the water. That's so the company does not have a bunch of time to clean up the water before it's tested. The second law, Senate Bill 1663, empowers water customers with more information. The law requires companies and TCEQ to alert people sooner if their water is contaminated. These bills a direct result of the original situation in the Arrowhead subdivision that prompted our very first story. There was E. coli in the water supply distribution system for 4 days before they were notified, and TCEQ gave the company 9 days before they tested the water. So the neighbors in this neighborhood have fought hard for these new laws to be passed, and right now they're working to push even more legislation for next session to make water safer for people across the entire state. We, of course, will be staying up to date on that fight. To see all of my previous stories on this topic, just head to KSAT.com and search Dirty Water Investigation. At the bottom of each story are links to the other stories.
Take a quick look out there with a live cam. We are heating up. Now we've hit 80-something degrees. Let's see.
89.
89. Okay, 89 degrees officially on your monitor, 88. So we have the official word from our Sarah Spivey.
I'm here for the official word. Yeah, let's take a look at those temperatures. We are quickly climbing. It's going to be another day where we'll be close to the upper 90s in the afternoon. It's 86 in Kerrville, but 89 here in San Antonio, 90 in Pleasanton, and 88 in Victoria. Here's the forecast for the rest of the day. Generally just hot and mostly sunny, 96 and a mild evening with temperatures falling into the 80s after sunset. But this is what I really want to focus on. We just had a weekend with rain, and this weekend we've increased rain chances. 50% chance Saturday and 50% chance Sunday. But the biggest thing to know is that flooding is possible. And I have to mention, I do not want you to cancel your weekend plans because our chances for rain are largely going to depend on now Tropical Storm Lorena out in the Pacific. I've got a lot to talk about. I'll have that forecast for you coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, hours ago, Kerr County Commissioners held a public hearing ahead of next week's vote for their proposed budget. And as no one stepped forward for comment, it remains as it is for now. So this includes the property tax rate approved at last week's meeting of 40.24 cents per hundred. So if adopted, this tax rate would be the same as the no new revenue tax rate. So at the meeting, Judge Rob Kelly said that the Texas Division of Emergency Management could be leaving Kerr County after he meets with them on Wednesday.
San Antonio is taking big steps to fight extreme heat in the South San neighborhood. South San faces higher temperatures because of fewer trees and lots of asphalt, making it hotter than other parts of the city. Last month, the city's Office of Sustainability and community groups Adaptation International and Fuerza Unida scored a $96,000 grant from the Climate Smart Communities Initiative. The San Antonio partnership was the only project in Texas to receive funding. The money will help them continue work to protect elderly and low-income residents from dangerous heat. It will also build leadership and boost community engagement. The project includes cooling communities, youth green job training, and planting more trees to shade the neighborhood.
Well, flooding is to blame for the 2 deaths of 2 people who were found dead in a creek near the airport. That's according to investigators who found their bodies in Salado Creek near Malsberger Lane and 281 North. Now, San Antonio Police Chief William McManus says they are victims of the fast-moving water from the rain over the weekend. Chief also says that both victims appear to have been homeless. He did not know how far the water carried their bodies, but he says it looked like they both drowned. The chief says there is no suspicion of foul play at the time, and he says friends of the victims let police know that they were missing and they helped with that search.
Their friends knew that they hung back here and they were concerned because they hadn't seen them. So after looking for them, they discovered the one person, and then we discovered the second person.
Well, the chief says the victims were young adults, one male and one female. Their names have not been released.
A house fire on the east side brought in as many as 15 fire trucks. It happened in a neighborhood on Gibbs Street, which is just off of South New Braunfels Avenue. Police and firefighters say they originally thought there was a woman trapped inside the home, but she was staying with family, so no one was hurt or inside. The cause of the fire still under investigation, but neighbors did report seeing large flames on the back of the home.
Well, we know the name of the woman who was hit and killed on the city's northwest side over the weekend. Now, the Bexar County Medical Examiner tells us that 75-year-old Cynthia Anthony was hit by a vehicle in a parking lot on Babcock Road just after midnight on Sunday. Now, witnesses say that a 2010 Nissan Murano, the driver there, struck her and then drove off without helping. Anthony died at the scene, and police have not made any arrests. Well, authorities in Texas have charged a 42-year-old man with murder after a ding-dong ditch shooting left an 11-year-old Houston boy dead on Saturday. ABC's Matt Gutman explains how that incident resembles a viral door-kicking challenge.
Police are investigating the tragic death of an 11-year-old boy who was shot during a prank gone wrong.
Shooting just occurred for a little boy that was shy.
The boy was ding-dong ditching with friends in a Houston neighborhood Saturday night when around 11:30 p.m. they rang the doorbell of this house and ran off. Then police say a witness saw a man run out of the house with a handgun, firing 2 to 3 gunshots, hitting one of the boys in the back.
I think they were able to run for about a block before he lost consciousness and dropped in the street.
The boy was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead the following day.
It's an innocent life taken that he could have avoided.
Come out with your hands up.
Houston Police's major assaults unit then raiding the house, detaining a middle-aged man for questioning. When they searched the house, police say they found a, quote, significant number of firearms inside. And this morning, according to court documents, the 42-year-old suspect has been arrested and charged with murder. This incident is similar to a viral door-kicking challenge trend growing on social media. Several police departments issuing warnings that the trend is not only criminal and a nuisance, but it can be dangerous. Police in Chandler, Arizona, releasing this video of a group of juveniles kicking the front door of this home, saying the group targeted that same home at least 18 times, prompting the residents to move out. Police departments around the country are warning that this kind of prank can be mistaken as an attempted break-in. And since there are more guns than people in the United States, what police call defensive responses from homeowners can result in very real danger. Matt Gutman, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, today marks the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. A veteran looks back on one of the deadliest and most destructive conflicts in history.
Well, today, World War II veterans and others gathered at the National World War II Memorial to commemorate the end to the conflict, which pitted Allied forces against Axis powers for nearly 6 years.
Today is the 80th anniversary of VJ Day, or Victory over Japan Day, which marked the formal end of World War II. Japan signed a formal surrender on September 2nd, 1945. The signing ceremony was held on the deck of the battleship USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay.
Well, Americans celebrated in the weeks before after President Harry Truman announced Japan's surrender from the White House in August.
This noon, a World War II veteran in Hawaii reflects on the moments the conflict came to an end.
My name is Doyle, D-O-Y-L-E, Boothroy, B-O-O-T-H-R-O-Y, one word. When is my birthday? March 28, 1926. I arrived in Guam on the USS Louisville, and I walked down the plank, across the dock, and up the plank into the Missouri that afternoon while we left for Iwo Jima.
Do you remember hearing the sounds of war around you? Did that have an impact on you?
Yes, very definitely. When a 16-inch guns went off, 3 at a time. It moved a 50,000-ton ship over in the water 4 feet. And the noise was deafening. As a matter of fact, it did ruin my ears.
Do you remember word spreading throughout the ship that this was going to happen, that the war was over?
Our weather office was right behind the bridge, and on behind us was the radio shack. And so between the bridge and the radio shack, we heard a lot immediately as it happened.
Oh, wow. So you knew right away?
Yes, we knew right away.
Do you remember how you felt in that moment?
No.
Because you had a job to do.
We were all happy that it was ending. The generation under me don't understand what the Second World War was or was all about. I feel we have a lot of people that want to live in the United States, but they don't really understand the meaning of our country.
We are warm as we are continuing our Tuesday. The thing is, we had a very busy weekend with a lot of rain. Over 3 inches of rain fell at the San Antonio International Airport. And today will be quieter, but we've got rain in the forecast already by the weekend. I want to start with some good news in the pollen count. Molds are moderate. They're down from yesterday. Yesterday they were very high. Molds are moderate. Fall elm is low. The aquifer is also up almost half a foot over the last 24 hours. Here's what you need to know. This week will be hot with low humidity. We'll talk about near 100-degree temperatures. But this weekend, what we're watching for is actually some more flooding. Saturday or Sunday, that's the big question. The timing is still uncertain. It all has to do with the potential track of Tropical Storm Lorena. We'll be back with more information after the break. So guys, y'all got some rain over the weekend?
Yes, I got 2.5 inches on the rain gauge at our house.
That is good. Well,
Yes.
I was out of town, but
Good for you.
but on the way
Well, we were
in,
working.
Yes, but on the way in, I saw it and it was nice and refreshing.
Yeah, it kind of felt great this morning too. I woke
It
up, there
did.
was dew everywhere. Where I live, it was only in the upper 60s in the morning, so it
Wow.
was really nice.
Okay.
And we're going to dry out for the most part this week, but it's the weekend that I want to talk about. So starting off with a look at what you can expect the rest of the week. Basically just hot. So we'll be hot, but in the afternoons we'll have low humidity, so a dry heat. But this weekend we are watching for the potential for flooding. The big question is Saturday or Sunday. The timing of that rain is still uncertain because it all depends on the track of this tropical storm Lorena, which just formed this morning, is turning off of the coast of Mexico here. Now, Lorena is expected to eventually become a hurricane, strengthen into a lower Category 1 hurricane with 80-mile-per-hour winds. But the thing that's interesting about Lorena is it's going to turn over Baja California and eventually into Mexico. Now, we are not expecting here in San Antonio tropical storm force winds or anything like that. The biggest thing that Lorena is going to do is it's going to be bringing us some tropical moisture, some really moist tropical air coming in from the Pacific along with the remnants of Lorena. That's likely going to move into Texas and set up the potential for some heavy rain either on Saturday or on Sunday. But one thing that is looking more and more likely is whether it's Saturday or whether it's Sunday, flooding is going to be possible, not only across Texas, but potentially here in San Antonio in the hill country as well. So we really need to be on alert. By Monday, that system will likely be exiting and we'll have quieter weather early next week. So rain chances, again, pretty much zero through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, We've gone ahead and gone a 50% chance either on Saturday or on Sunday before things dry out on Monday. The biggest thing to know with the rain chance is we're watching for whether or not we get a faster track from Lorena. If we get a faster track from Lorena, Saturday would be the rainier day. And if we get a slower track from Lorena, Sunday would be the rainier day. These are still things that we have to watch for. We'd probably know a better understanding of whether it's going to be a faster track or a slower track by Thursday. So we'll keep you posted. I want to impress on this though. Do not cancel your weekend plans yet, because we just don't know if the heavier rain is going to happen on Saturday or if the heavier rain is going to happen on Sunday. Outside right now, it's near 90 degrees in San Antonio, 91 in New Braunfels. Does feel a little bit hotter than that. We've got a small heat index out there. Del Rio's at 89, Bernie's at 86, and Kerrville, you're at 86 this afternoon. And looking at your KSAT 12-hour forecast, we're going to have mostly sunny skies, 96 for the high temperature today. That's only a couple of degrees warmer than average. And as we head into the evening hours, temperatures will still be in the 80s by midnight. So when we look at your 7-day forecast, just to reiterate everything for you, it's going to be hot the next couple of days. We'll probably have our 20th triple-digit day of the year by Thursday. And then Saturday and Sunday, heavy rain is possible. Again, the biggest thing we're asking and looking for is which day favors heavy rain, Saturday or Sunday. We'll keep you posted on that. Look at the highs, though. Highs will likely struggle to get out of the 80s on Sunday, regardless of when we get that rain. Hey, coming up, it's a new month, September. What is average for September as it comes to our rainfall? September tends to be one of the rainier months of our year. I'll have those details soon.
All right, thanks, Sarah. We need a moment for the music. Steph likes to dance to it.
Yes, thank you.
Your nominations for the SA Picks 2025 contest are in. We asked you to choose San Antonio's top businesses, and you came through.
Well, you can scan that QR code that you see on your screen to see all the finalists and put your vote in by September 20th. Plus, you can vote for each category once per day. We will announce those winners later this month.
September is here, which means San Antonio has plenty of events to welcome the fall and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. From September 3rd to the 7th, World Heritage Festival honors our city with events at all of the missions. If you're looking for family fun, the San Antonio Zoo is hosting its 40th annual Zoo Run September 5th and 6th.
Plus, there are free movies at the Rocket La Cantera on September 5th and Junior Ranger Day at the Missions on September 6th with activities for all ages. Locals can also get discounted zoo admission on September 6th. So for more information on the whole month's events, you can head over to our website at KSAT.com. Several new laws are now in effect in Texas, and one of them is leading to change inside classrooms, what parents and students can expect.
When millions of Texas public school students walk into their classrooms today, they'll see something new, posters listing the 10 Commandments.
It is part of the laws that went into effect today, and our Stefania Jimenez visited South San ISD to see how that district is displaying the religious document.
It's here, here, and here. Throughout South San ISD, colorful posters showing the 10 Commandments are on display in classrooms.
To be in the spirit of the law, we did just go ahead and purchase them ourselves so that we could have them up.
It is the law. Last June, Governor Greg Abbott passed Senate Bill 10, which many of us know as the 10 Commandments law. It clearly states that each public school classroom in Texas must show a poster or framed copy of the 10 Commandments measuring at least 16 by 20 inches. The law took effect September 1st, but South San ISD Superintendent Dr. Saul Hinojosa got a head start over the summer.
They were up before the students came in.
There are 12 schools within the South San ISD. That comes out to about 500 classrooms. And the superintendent says each and every one of those classrooms has a poster that displays the 10 Commandments. Not everyone agrees with the law.
I don't feel like the classroom is the place for that.
But supporters argue that it promotes good behavior among students.
And I think there should be standard beliefs of everyone. And so I think there's a place for that.
Less than 2 weeks ago, a federal judge ruled in favor of families who sued 11 school districts, claiming the law violated the First Amendment. However, that injunction only applies to those 11 school districts, meaning that all of the other school districts not named in the lawsuit, like South San ISD, do have to follow the law. However, Dr. Hinojosa doesn't want the controversy to distract from the district's main purpose.
My focus right now is on educating students and building capacity with their teachers to make sure that our district performs where it should be and where it needs to be.
All school districts have to pay for their posters or get them from donors. We emailed State Attorney General Ken Paxton last week to see if districts that aren't in compliance will face penalties. We haven't heard back. Stefania Jimenez, KSAT 12 News.
I'm ABC's Perry Russum in Washington. Congress is back in session today. A major issue they still have to work on, the Jeffrey Epstein files. That story coming up.
Well, Afghanistan's Taliban rulers are asking for international help after a huge earthquake killed hundreds of people and leveled entire villages. This comes as the area deals with ongoing food shortages and cuts to foreign aid. At least 1,411 were killed and 3,124 others were injured after the 6.0 magnitude quake hit towns and villages close to the Pakistan border on Sunday. The devastating earthquake has also destroyed thousands of homes. So heavy rain, landslides, and damaged roads have made it very difficult for relief teams to access the remote mountainous areas hit hardest by that quake. Meanwhile, recent U.S. aid cuts have limited relief efforts in the country, which has been contending with shrinking global and since the Taliban seized control back in 2021.
The Trump administration is considering declaring a national housing emergency this fall. That's according to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He told the Washington Examiner that such a move would be part of Republicans' midterm strategy to focus on housing affordability. Bessent added to that GOP leaders are trying to figure out their strategy, but the federal government does not want to, quote, step into the business of states, counties, and municipal governments, end quote. Some housing issues they suggested might be addressed, including standardized building codes and lowering closing costs.
Well, Congress is back in session today, and they have a busy week and a busy month ahead.
Lawmakers still feeling pressure to release the full Jeffrey Epstein files. As ABC's Perry Russum reports, the House Oversight Committee is set to meet with some of Epstein's victims today.
With August recess now over for Congress, lawmakers return to Washington to deal with a deeply dividing issue still unresolved, the Jeffrey Epstein files. The House Oversight Committee meeting today behind closed doors with several of Epstein's victims. The committee has already been analyzing the Epstein files they subpoenaed from the Department of Justice. Congress also racing to fund the government by the end of the month to avoid a federal shutdown. Meanwhile, lawmakers facing calls from several former directors and acting directors of the CDC to step in amid the turmoil at the agency, the firing of the CDC director and top officials resigning in protest. In an op-ed in the New York Times, the former directors write in part, Congress must exercise its oversight authority over HHS. They accused Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. of endangering the health of every American. It comes as longtime Democratic Congressman Jerry Nadler announces he will not run for re-election next year. The representative from New York City says his party needs a generational change. Nadler is 78 years old. He has been in Congress for more than 30 years. In an interview, he suggested other Democratic colleagues should consider retiring. He did not name names. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
All right, we are warming up really quickly. We're seeing temperatures climb. It'll be a lot hotter than it was yesterday outside. Yesterday we had some rain in spots, but today we are going to be looking at high temperatures generally in the mid to upper 90s as you're picking up the kids from school. So take a look at your screen here. 97 in San Antonio, 98 in Uvalde. It'll be 96 in Seguin and in New Braunfels, 91 in Kerrville, 97 in Pleasanton. All right, new month, September, new month. And it's actually the start of San Antonio's second rainy season. Our first rainy season of the year is usually May and June. But by this time this month, we get close to 4 inches of rain on average for the month itself. September and October tend to be fairly rainy months for us if we get rain. And a big reason for that is because of what happens in the tropics. We've got Tropical Storm Lorena to our south, and so that is going to be bringing us the potential for some rain this weekend. We'll be watching for some flooding. And the timing, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, that's still a little uncertain, but I'll be talking more in depth about that coming up in just a little bit. Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, 6 years ago, a man's life was cut short, and San Antonio police still have not caught the person responsible.
Our John Paul Barajas spoke to Anthony Clark's mom at her son's final resting place as she continues to look for answers.
It's been 6 years to the day since he was taken from you.
Yes.
How are you holding up?
Oh, they say it's going to get better, but it don't. It get worse every year.
Anthony Clark was killed outside of Club Group, an East Side nightclub, on September 1st of 2019.
Oh, give me the strength, Jesus.
6 years later, his mom, Barbara Boyd, is still looking for justice.
We have a person that murdered somebody, and that was my son. And if he's still out there on the loose, God forbid, I hope he don't hurt anybody else.
Boyd tells us she isn't sure what led up to the shooting or if there was a motive. San Antonio police explained the suspect shot Clark with a high-powered rifle from distance. Exactly how far isn't clear.
I'm a mother with a bleeding heart. Turn yourself in so I could get justice, and your mind can be at peace.
For now, she uses the memories of her son to keep her going.
Always happy, always making everybody happy.
Big old smile on his face.
Yes, always.
And she hopes a Crime Stoppers reward of up to $5,000 for any information leading to an arrest will spark new attention on her son's case. How often do you come out here?
Oh, 2-3 times a week.
If there was one thing you could say to him right now, what would that be?
Your mother is still fighting for your justice. And you keep watching over me like you are.
John Paul Barajas.
I won't stop.
KSAT 12 News.
Well, more changes at Southwest Airlines, what travelers may notice the next time they fly with the carrier.
And about 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. That's according to the American Cancer Society. A medical oncologist explains what you can do to increase your chances of early detection, even when there are no symptoms. Well, prostate cancer may be common, but knowing the symptoms may not be.
CNN's Mandy Gaither talks to a medical oncologist about the signs and symptoms that you should be aware of.
It's one of the most common cancers among U.S. men, but if caught early, prostate cancer is highly treatable.
If somebody is diagnosed with prostate cancer when it's still confined to the prostate, then the chances of you being alive at 5 years is 100% from prostate cancer.
Dr. Edmund Folafak with the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center says later stage symptoms of the disease may include frequent urination, trouble emptying the bladder, blood in the urine, pelvic pain, and sexual dysfunction.
Thankfully, a majority of the prostate cancer here in the U.S. are picked up when they don't have any, when patients don't have any symptoms through screening.
Since there are often no symptoms in early stages of the disease, Folafak says those at high risk should talk to their doctor about being screened. That includes anyone with a family history of prostate cancer, people with medical conditions that may make the disease hard to treat if it's found, and African American men who are at increased risk of not only getting the disease, but dying from it. Folafak says the prostate-specific antigen, or PSA test, tests the blood. High levels may mean cancer, but there are also other causes like an infection. PSA levels also generally rise with age.
Your doctor can then tell you what that PSA signifies and if you would undergo further testing or not.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, the CDC says that potential benefits and harms of screening, diagnosis, and treatment should also be considered. The goal of prostate cancer screening is to find that cancer early. However, the agency also warns that treatment for this slow-growing disease may not be necessary for all men who have it, and some may have complications from the treatment. So experts agree that the decision about screening should be made by the patient alongside their doctor.
Southwest Airlines says its new planes are now equipped with a barrier to protect the cockpit when pilots need to open their door during a flight. The air carrier's first Boeing 737 with a retractable barrier entered service in time for Labor Day weekend. Southwest is one of the first U.S. airlines to use it. The secondary barrier resembles a gate more than it does a solid door. Aviation labor unions have been calling for the barriers ever since September 11, 2001, during the terror attacks. They say the barriers were needed to protect the flight deck when the pilots had to open the door, such as to go to the bathroom. Southwest says every new plane it brings into service will have that barrier installed.
At Home has announced it is closing 29 stores, and the furniture and home decor chain will close what it says are its underperforming locations by the end of the month. At Home filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in June. The retailer notes that rising interest rates, persistent inflation, and the effect of increased tariffs as reasons for its bankruptcy.
Well, no one held the winning ticket for last night's lottery drawing. The Powerball jackpot has jumped to $1.3 billion after no ticket matched those lucky numbers. While the largest prize went unclaimed, at least 2 tickets sold in Montana and North Carolina won $2 million, according to the Multi-State Lottery Association. The next chance to win big will be tomorrow. If someone wins the jackpot, they can receive a $1.3 billion over 30 years or a one-time payment of more than $500 million. Both are before taxes. The odds of winning are 1 in 292 million. Best of luck.
Almost 1 in all of the population of the United States.
Yes, pretty much.
That's kind of a different way to put it, right? All right, so I want to start with some good news in the pollen count. Moles are now moderate. They were high for the last couple of days because of the recent rain. Fall elm is low. More good news, the aquifer is up 0.4 of a foot over the last 24 hours, but it's still almost 30 feet below the monthly average, so not great news there. When we look at rain chances, though, we do see the return of rain chances soon by Saturday and Sunday, and flooding is going to be possible. Here's the thing, though. We're either going to get heavy rain on Saturday or we're going to get heavy rain on Sunday. It's one or the other, all depending on what happens to the track of Tropical Storm Lorena. That's what I'm going to start with coming up after the break.
Well, Aurora Borealis was visible across several northern states last night. And not only that, in this live stream video broadcasted from Maine, you can actually see a shooting star also pass through the sky.
I just saw, there it goes again.
Yeah.
According to the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Aurora Borealis was due to a powerful solar storm. Several geomagnetic storms have already caused notable northern light displays over the past year, including a particularly strong storm in October. I love when we see those. It's amazing.
I know, that's very cool to see, and kind of pretty too.
Yeah, exactly. What also is pretty is when the rain cleared. I saw some rainbows, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, because it was sunny, and then you saw kind of the mist. It was great.
Nice.
By the way, if you at home saw any rainbows, please send them to our KSAT Connect. We would love to be able to show them here before the end of the show. I'll go sort through them right now. As we take a look, though, at the forecast over the next several days, we're going to have some rain by next weekend too. September is usually a rainy month for us, guys. We start off with an average high of about 94 degrees and an average low of 73. That's where we should be right now. By the end of the month, our average high dips down into the 80s because we typically see some cool fronts and some rain. On average, we see just under 4 inches of rain for the month of September. Will this month be rainy? It has the potential to, even by this weekend, so we'll keep you posted. For now, take a look at temperatures. You can see that we're going to be close to 100 in the coming days. The September starts off hot for us, but watch what happens over the weekend. We see our highs come down potentially into the 80s on Sunday, and that's because we have rain chances over the weekend, all because of Tropical Storm Lorena. Now, usually when we talk about big impacts to the Texas coast, it's from Atlantic storms, but this storm in particular is going to swing some moisture our way. way, which is why we have that chance for rain over the weekend. Let's take a look at Lorena's track. Lorena is expected to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane by Thursday. And then the most important thing about Lorena's track for us is that it's expected to turn. And it's expected to turn into Mexico, bringing with it some tropical moisture by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday into the weekend. So tropical moisture will be slung our way. And this is that rich Pacific tropical moisture that allows for the upper levels of the atmosphere to have a lot of moisture in it as well. Here in San Antonio, we often feel humid from lower level moisture from the Atlantic Ocean, from the Gulf. But with that Pacific moisture overhead, that means we're going to be seeing moisture from the surface all the way up into high into the atmosphere. And that can lead to some rain bombs. So let's go ahead and take you through the futurecast. By Saturday, Sunday, our rain chances pick up and flooding is going to be possible as well. You can see in this particular forecast model, it has a bullseye right over the Austin and San Antonio metro area. We'll have to wait and see if that comes to fruition. But what we do know is that flooding is going to be possible somewhere over the weekend because of that moisture. So when we look at rainfall potential this weekend, I want you to notice just how many areas could be seeing some heavy rain, from Dallas to Texarkana down to Corpus Christi, and even here in San Antonio, we could potentially see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain. That's about what we got last weekend. And again, we saw some flooding last weekend. So this is going to be a possibility. There are some things, though, that we are yet to determine. The location, the exact location of the heavy rain is to be determined. The timing is even to be determined. It's basically between Saturday or Sunday when we would get that potential for heavy rain. If Lorena is fast, if Lorena speeds up, that heavy rain would be possible on Saturday. If Lorena slows down, that heavier rain would be possible on Sunday. So it's kind of an either or situation, either Saturday or either Sunday. So if there's one thing I can impress on you, it would be to continue to check in with the forecast, because we'll be able to know Lorena's speed here fairly shortly, at least by Thursday. And then the other thing I want to impress upon you is to not cancel your weekend plans, because the timing is still to be determined for the rainfall. Outside right now, it's close to 90 degrees. We got some of those puffy cumulus clouds out there. It's mainly going to be a hot afternoon, near 96 for the high in San Antonio, and it'll be a warm evening with temperatures falling into the low 80s by about midnight. So looking at that 7-day forecast, hot over the next couple of days, and then heavy rain is possible either on Saturday or on Sunday. One thing you can know for certain, we are going to keep you posted. So make sure you have that KSAT Weather Authority app handy.
We will. Thank you, Sarah. The interior designer from Ingram is giving back to neighbors in need, how she's helping people feel at home again. Well, we have seen so much kindness around the Hill Country since the July 4th flooding.
We really have people pitching in, sharing their talents to help their neighbors get through the biggest challenge of their lives.
And you're about to meet an interior designer from Ingram. One of her homes was also destroyed by the flood.
And yet she's focusing on others, furnishing their homes for free. As Stefania Jimenez reports, she's doing it just because.
Home means everything to me.
Like many in the Hill Country, Christina Flood was directly affected by last month's flooding.
We lost our little river house, and walking in there and seeing everything just tossed about in the mud.
Luckily for Christina, this wasn't her family's primary home. Now, when she looks around and sees what other people have lost, she feels a calling.
To come home and see some beautiful things again, that's what I want to do.
And it's what she is doing. Christina's an interior designer. She owns and runs her shop in Ingram. And since the flood, she's been taking some of her inventory and donating it to flood victims for free, like this living room set.
I wanted to offer furniture, quality furniture, not just donated pieces, not just bargain store finds.
Christina says so far she's donated about $20,000 worth of furniture to people like Brenda Trollinger. I met Brenda and her husband Mike earlier this month. They're rebuilding their home after floodwaters swept away or ruined all of their possessions. Now many of Brenda's belongings will be replaced, thanks to Christina.
We're going to have, nice furniture. We have hope that we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's Christina's goal.
When I see the joy that it brings to other people, It means everything to me.
She wants to help people heal so that when they're finally back home, they can feel at home.
It may seem like nothing to a lot of people. It's just things in a home, but it's a life. I mean, it's kind of the heartbeat of your home when you walk in. It feels warm, and it's memories. It's all of the things.
Stefania Jimenez, KSAT 12 News.
And our crews here at KSAT found out about what Christina's doing through the very people she's trying to help. So she told us that she will continue to help people as long as she can.
All right, the forecast for the first half is fairly quiet. We're going to be up to 100 degrees by Thursday, so that would probably be our 20th triple-digit day, but what we're really focusing on as a weather team is the impact to your weekend, because it's looking like heavy rain is going to be possible at some point Saturday or Sunday. It all hinges on Tropical Storm Lorena in the Pacific. So if I could impress anything on you, it would be continue to check back in the forecast. We want to give you the most accurate information. And as we get closer to Saturday and Sunday, we will have that accurate information for you.
Well, that'll be good for us just to get that rain there for sure, Sarah.
Oh, yeah, we still need rain.
Thank you so much for watching today.
Have a good day.